The absolute state of this. Rochdale grooming gang ringleader, 54, is still living in Britain nearly 9 years after he was meant to have been deported to Pakistan over sickening child sex offences. Get ready for this. A convicted Rochdale grooming gang leader is still living in the UK nearly 9 years after he was ordered to be deported. In a case that shocked the nation, 9 Asian men were convicted in 2012 of a range of sexual offences against children, including rape, trafficking, and conspiracy to engage in sexual activity with children in and around Rochdale, Greater Manchester. Ringleader Qari Abdul Rauf was told he would be packed off to Pakistan after serving a jail term for child sex offences. At this point, I just want to say, before I go on, get ready for those of you who don't know how long he served, because it's about to get worse, okay? Here we go. But Ralph, 54, is still enjoying life in Britain and spending time with his family. There he is. Absolute oxygen thief, paedophile, child rapist. There he is, enjoying life in the UK, despite being told he's being deported. This country is a laughing stock. But listen to this, right? Listen to it. Although he was stripped of his British citizenship, his deportation has been held up as Pakistan, the other country where he enjoyed dual nationality, reportedly refused to take him back. School children regularly walk past the 140,000 three-bedroom red brick semi-detached house in Rochdale, Greater Manchester, where he lives. And I am telling you now, right, I guarantee that house is being paid for by you and I. Our taxes are paying for that house. I guarantee it. We're paying for that house. Right, it says former taxi driver and Muslim preacher Ralph was jailed in 2012. So he was jailed for 6 years. He was freed on license in November 2014 after just 2.5 years in prison. 2.5 years he got for sexually exploiting, raping, trafficking children, British children. He returned home to his wife and 5 children. I'm going to be very frank here. I'm going to be very frank. Deport this POS and his entire family. And you can sit there and say, oh, that's not fair, Jada. It wasn't his family that raped those children. It wasn't his wife and children that raped those kids. Listen, let me just say something. If your husband is jailed for raping children and you take him back, you are just as vile. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care. Oh, I love him. He's my husband. I need him. I'm reliant on him. Just don't. This woman would have been getting state benefits. She'll still be getting benefits. That house that they live in with their 5 children, they'll all be on benefits that I'm paying for. I'm working 7 days a week, paying taxes. And these people are getting housed in my country after they've been raping children in my country. And she stayed with him. Pack her off as well. Disgusting. I've got no time for people like that. I don't care. I don't care if anybody finds that offensive or distasteful. I couldn't give a monkeys. If, as a woman, you're willing to lay down with a man who's been raping children, you are vile. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The Home Office told him he would be stripped of his UK citizenship in 2015 and return to his native Pakistan along with fellow abusers Abdul Aziz and Adil Khan. Oh, there were a few of them involved in this. They lost an appeal in 2018 against the ruling to strip them of their citizenship rights. Right, so they were told, you're going. Ralph and fellow defendant Adil Khan were both ordered to be sent back to Pakistan on their release, but their lawyers appealed. Alongside Adil Khan, Ralph sought to claim in 2022, that his forced removal would be incompatible with his human rights, but that appeal failed. So in August 2023, last year, immigration judges refused another further appeal from Ralph's lawyers, whose identities have been protected by way of an unusual court order. You hear the mess of this? You hear how corrupt this is? The judiciary are up to their necks in this filth. Why are they hiding the identity of these people's lawyers? Listen, I worked in the legal profession for many years, and you're supposed to represent without fear or favor, and that is true. Everybody is entitled to legal representation. But let me tell you something. This is why I didn't practice criminal law, because I wouldn't be representing this. I couldn't represent this. Just filth, absolute scum. Here's some of the other scumbags that were raping children. But the pair's removal has been delayed because Pakistan is reportedly refusing to allow them to return. Both men claimed during their deportation appeals that they have renounced their Pakistani citizenships, rendering them stateless. A previous court hearing concluded that it would be relatively easy for the pair to reclaim their Pakistani nationalities, but they're unwilling to do so. A new hard-hitting report released last week concluded that at least 96 men who pose a potential risk to children continue to roam the Greater Manchester area, but admits they are likely only a proportion of the individuals committing sex abuse. They're still raping our kids. Look, these are some of the other nonces that did this, carried out these attacks in Rochdale. Look at them. And I'm sorry to be crude here, but we need to be, because the next point I'm going to make is the important point. These men were literally forcing their disgusting, horrible, fat, hairy, greasy bodies on top of our British children, young white girls being molested and raped by these disgusting men. And I'm sorry to be so crass, but people need to hear this kind of chat, because I don't understand what more it's going to take in this country. Look at the state of these people. Look at the state of I'm not even going to call them men. They're monsters raping our kids. And we can't even get rid of them because the government is so pathetic and so weak. And that's where my next point is the important bit. This government doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about me. And it doesn't care about our children. It doesn't care about any of the victims of these grooming gangs. None of them. If it did, it wouldn't be 9 years on and these men are still walking our streets. We're paying for them to be in our country. They should have been on the end of a rope, right? We should have the death penalty for offences like this, but we don't. But at the very least, if we can't deport them, then bang them all up. Say to them, listen, if you want to do away with your Pakistani nationality, so you've got no other citizenship to try and stay in this country, that's fine. But you cannot be free. We will keep you locked up. Now, I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay for these people. What I want to do is get them out. But you see, the only thing that will ever make a change in this country is you and I. It's you and I. The government will not do anything unless they are forced to. People need to understand that. This is what people really need to get into their heads. And this is what the British Freedom Party is all about. We've launched a new campaign, and it's directly targeting a 1 million man strong citizen army that we already have in our nation, but we just haven't tapped into. And it's the last resort for us. It really is, because if the men of this nation don't rise up and demand change, then we're never going to get it. And the jig's up and it's finished. And we're just selling our kids into this horror, this absolute horror of a future in this country. Imagine if Britain had a citizen army of 1 million men. Well, we have. We've launched a campaign. Football fans, use your power. We want to produce 100,000 leaflets to be distributed throughout football stadiums all over the United Kingdom. There are 1 million men, fighting age men, right? Fighting fit men that every single week in, week out, come together in thousands, tens of thousands sometimes, come together to enjoy football matches. This is what we need. We need these men out on our streets demanding action. We need 100,000 leaflets to reach these people. And it's doable. We've done this in the past. We've had massive campaigns in the past and they have been very successful. This is what is needed. So look, we've just launched the campaign. We need people to get behind it. We need people to help us fund it. If you can chip in, there's the page. We'll put the link underneath and in the chat. And if you can chip in to try and help us get these 100,000 leaflets made, printed and distributed throughout the UK, let's see if we can stir up the men of the United Kingdom. Because if we don't make changes ourselves, if we don't demand that action is taken, it won't be. So let's use our power, use your power, football fans, and let's make some changes. Because we owe it to the children of our nation who are going to be left to deal with this. We owe it to them. We brought them into this. The least we can do while we're still here is try and make sure their future isn't as bleak as our government would want it to be. Get behind the campaign, please, folks.